Tell us something more about the idea, the conception of Powerhouse.
Well, there's a bunch of aesthetics that I really love to listen to, music aesthetics that aren't really connected to the jazz history. And most of the music I work with, I think people could relate to jazz coming out of the United States or the jazz in Europe, the free improvisation in both countries. But I love funk and reggae and rock, and there have been other groups I've worked with that have dealt more directly with those kinds of music or aesthetics. For example, Spaceways Incorporated with Hamid Drake and Nate. We did a lot of stuff that had worked with funk and actually recorded an album that included a bunch of funkadelic material from George Clinton and those guys. And I've been trying to find a way to work with that music again with a group that would be interested in doing it too. And it's taken a while to put the pieces together, but a lot of it is trying to figure out maybe a way to improvise using music that's very much based on grooves, so like reggae and funk and rock that's like, you know, people dance to and things like that. And but come up with systems that are really flexible, so you don't have like a set tune that you just play every night, like a rock tune or a pop tune. And a lot of the reasons for that were like knowing about James Brown's music and about Funkadelic and how flexible their music was and open-ended that music was. The dubs material that Lee Perry's done and King Tubby did, that music is very open-ended and experimental, and I really felt there were ways to deal with that in like an environment that was a lot about improvisation. And that's really what the motivation's been behind this group.
Tell us something about the Chicago music scene, because from the Poland perspective it looks like, you know, lots of bands and everyone knows everyone, and Isotope, all those bands like Chicago Underground and your bands. And
it's a pretty amazing city. I mean, we were talking about this today, and I think last night too. You know, yeah, it was today. We were talking about, like, I come to Europe a lot. These guys come to Europe a lot, and where would we want to live? How would we want to work? And Chicago is a very, very special city, and okay, we all live there, so maybe it sounds like we're promoting the scene there, but the truth is, of all the places I go and all the musicians I know, in whatever cities there are in the world, Chicago is very unique because there's lots of musicians and there's lots of chances to play, and the people who live there tend to be very open to the work of other people. And so we meet each other, we work together, we hear each other, we support what each other's doing. I mean, I've seen John play since I first moved there in 1989, and this is the first group I've had where I've worked with him. And I've played a few times with Jeff outside this band, but this is the first group where I've really worked with him. And, you know, I've been living there for, I don't know how, almost 20 years, you know? And so it kind of came to a point where, okay, but before that, we'd see each other play all the time in other groups, and we knew each other a little bit. And that happens over and over and over again in the city. It's a really supportive music scene, and there's lots of creative people there. And it's still pretty affordable to live there, so a lot of creative people move there to try to do things, and lots of musicians are coming into the city all the time. New jazz musicians, new rock musicians, all different kinds of people. And that makes the scene very, very vital and very alive, which is fantastic, and which is, you know, really why I still live there, you know.
What is the key for you to start a new project? Because you are playing often in Poland, and everyone's product is completely different. And, are you bored and you find something different, or?
I guess, I mean, bored maybe is too negative a word, but I'm curious and I'm impatient, and really, want to work with lots of different kinds of music, and so the way that has been successful for me in sort of dealing with my curiosity is to put groups together that work in different kinds of ways. So, for example, this particular club, Alchemia, the audience that's come here has seen the range of the different kinds of things I do. Almost every time I come, it's with a different group, and each one has like a different set of principles that it's working on, different set of kind of music it's working on, and I think that's because there's like so many things I want to try. And just on this trip, you know, working with John and Jeff and all the stuff they know about hip-hop, about funk, about different kinds of jazz. I mean, I've learned just sitting in the train talking with these guys, I've learned so much, you know, and it's a very, that's the way I like to work. That's the way I like to pursue the music is working with people who are curious like me and have lots of passion for what they do. And when you do that kind of thing, I mean, it's the only way to go, really. So I can't imagine only having one band that did one kind of thing, you know. And so to try to find the right musicians for the right project and then develop those things and help them grow has been very, very, very exciting for me, and I love working that way. So that's, I guess, I don't know if I'm bored, but maybe curious. Maybe curious.